Hello everyone, so today I'm gonna compare the X-T2 from the Capture One versus the JPEG. So to do this comparison, since I did that X-T3 previously, so this time I'm doing on the X-T2 the raw file against that JPEG file. So let's get started. So the left side is the raw file. I have some adjustment layer for the sharpness already, so I sharpening it a little bit already, and let's get closer to see what's the difference between this when it's zoom in among. And this one, everything else is the default except sharpness plus 1. You can see that it is it's very sharp on the JPEG already. And so almost the same size crop, but you can see that the eyes are getting much sharper on the JPEG as well. So let me zoom in slightly a little bit more. Yep, so you can apply the sharpening even a little bit more just to see what's the difference. But right out of the bat, the JPEG from the X-T2 sensor is better in terms of the sharpness from the camera logic to make it sharper. But the advantage of the raw file is that you can change many different profile later. You can, for example, you can change the different simulation. Right now this one is austere, and then you can change to other like classic chrome and stuff, so it has more flexibility. But for in terms of the sharpness, the JPEG is good. So let's see the next one. Let me move the next one over. So this is directly straight out of the camera, and let me zoom in around here, and this one's it's still, the JPEG is a bit sharper. Let me zoom in a little bit. So I have the adjustment layer on because the raw file, it doesn't have any sharpening applied to it. So I manually apply some sharpening, and you can see the color is very similar when you load it on the Capture One. By the way, if you want to do a trial, you can use the link below just to try it out as well for the Capture One trial link. And yeah, so when you zoom in closer, and then let me zoom this one closer. Yep, so the sharpness is very good for the X-T2. Like the JPEG is better rendering, but you can have capability in case. So that's why I'm shooting both right now, just to show you the difference, and in case any one of you curious of the raw performance on the Capture One on this one. When you first load it in the Capture One, is good. The color is very similar to the JPEG already, so the algorithm initial load is very similar already. You can see that this so this one is the initial load from the Capture One, and then this one is the JPEG directly out of the camera. And let's try zoom in one more time, and then zoom in one more time. So you can see that the eyes are in focus. Yep, so it's very sharp from the camera JPEG processing of the X-T2. So it's consistent with what's been talking about for the Fujifilm. The JPEG is very good directly out of the camera. So if you are traveling and you just need like minor adjustment, and you set the profile correctly, so you don't have to worry about doing a lot of editing in the travel. You don't want to edit for 1 hour for one photo. you can use the JPEG, but you can shoot both just in case sometimes some lighting got messed up, and then you can just update the lighting using the raw file also. And in terms of the color rendering, the Capture One already initial low is very nice. So this adjustment layer, I have this on, and then let me pull up the sharpness to see if I can get to that level. And so this side is the X-T2 JPEG, and then this side is the raw. Yep, for some reason the JPEG is still sharper in this case right here, so that's why sometimes it's even sharper than the sharpening. If you intentionally sharpen in 400, in this case it's still the JPEG is sharper. So, and I think this one is a little bit out of focus. I'm gonna skip this one, and let's compare this one. So let me pull out the JPEG for this one and do some side by side in here, and then so let's do a half body first. The skin tone rendering on the raw file is good from the Capture One already, and in terms of the sharpness is again very sharp on the JPEG. And this one I have to add the sharpness manually because of the raw file, so I added the adjustment layer just to make sure that it is sharp right now. And you can see that it might have a little bit of the magenta on the Capture One side, but it's very minor. It's not very noticeable. And this is directly the austere film simulation profile. So yep, and then let me do the last one. So this is just a quick comparison between the JPEG on the Fujifilm X-T2, and I for the JPEG setting I only have the +1, everything set to 0. There's no highlight tone and stuff. So let me zoom in a little bit. I have the adjustment layer on just to save some time. I'm gonna increase the sharpness a little more, so just to do some side by side. It's almost very similar in terms of the color rendering, and the initial low on the Capture One is correct, except a little bit more magenta than this one for the JPEG. But if your lighting is correct and you don't need a lot of adjustment, you should just use the JPEG file instead, because just this way you can save a lot of time. And then if you shoot both, you can have the capability in case some lighting you want to adjust, or you want to try out different profile. You can see that there are a lot of other profile you can try, Pro Neck High, Pro Neck Standard. You can try different profile, and if you like, or stick with this JPEG. That's the flexibility right here. But in terms of the sharpness, the X-T2 JPEG is very sharp on the sensor. Even it's sharper on the X-T3 to my observation. The directly out of the camera, JPEG is sharper than the X-T3. So I can do a comparison with X-T3 later, just to do a side-by-side comparison for the direct JPEG comparison, and under the same condition and same white balance. And that's the quick comparison, and thanks so much for watching, and stay tuned for more video coming up. Bye.